Hello, Flosstube. I am Emily, aka Cookies and Cross Stitch, and you are watching my third ever Flosstube episode. It's been a while. I planned on doing this every other week, and I think it's been over a month now, so sorry about it. It's been just busy, and kids home for summer, teething, different things that just haven't had a routine. I think last time I filmed, we were in the middle of T-ball and blast ball season, or maybe almost done. We survived that. We were either in wheat harvest or getting ready for wheat harvest, also survived that. I don't know what else has happened. We just got done with swim lessons. We are in the middle of our county fair here, and then have several others to go to in the next week. I think we'll be at like 4. I don't know. It's a lot. So my husband's family raises show pigs. And then all of his nieces and nephews and stuff show. So we go to the ones that we can make it to that are close. And then we go to a couple other fairs because he'll judge for round robin. Which, if you don't know what round robin is, it's when you show your livestock and you do showmanship. So you're judged on how you are showing. If you win, then you can be in round robin where you have to show all the species of animals. So he judges at several fairs on like the swine group. He'll judge them, and then he gives them a score. And then every other animal has a judge, and they all get a score from each judge. And then the winner is the best, like, all-around showman, if that makes any sense. So it's county fair season, which is busy. Yeah, I think that's a good life update. Cookies have also been busy. That's the main reason I haven't filmed. Last week I had, I think, like 11 dozen that were due. So I spent kind of 2 weeks, like 1 week prepping, which I didn't get that much prep because my kids were not cooperating. And then last week was just crazy mayhem. Cookies, any chance I could. But we survived. So now I'm already trying to get ready for my big market that is in September, which is in my hometown. It's, I don't know, they say that there's like 10 to 20,000 people that come. I don't know what the exact number is, but I have done a booth there the last, I think, 3 years, and I at one point decided I'm gonna get a double booth. I think that was last year. So I think I had about 100 dozen cookies last year, including decorated and fun drop cookie flavors. So I have started planning out my sugar cookie designs, which I have way too many planned, and we'll see how many get done. And then I've also started making a list of the drop cookie flavors we're gonna do, and I'm working on ingredient lists. And the Walmart delivery drivers are going to be my best friends because it's going to be a lot, but it'll be fun. So I made a batch of dough for drop cookies. I made my chocolate chip cookie dough today. It's in the fridge. I scooped it all into balls, and then I'll pop it in the freezer. And those are actually usually the last cookies I bake on like the day before the market because they're easy, and I think they look weird if you bake them too early. So I will start baking about a week out from the market. And the sugar cookies I need to start working on now probably, and start decorating them, and then I can also freeze those. I do have a bag of my leftovers from last week. You can kind of see some. I made extras of all the shapes just in case anything went wrong. And I am taking this bag and I'm gonna pop it in the freezer, and this is gonna be my experiment because I have been switching all my food coloring over to the natural dyes instead of the artificial dyes, and I just want to make sure that the dyes don't react to the freezing and thawing process weird, and I want to make sure they all come out okay. So I'm going to pop these in the freezer for, I don't know, a few days, maybe a week, and then pull them out and make sure that they look good before I start freezing like 20 dozen cookies. Because I don't want to mess up all those. But yeah, so anyways, it's a big thing. I'm going to be very busy between now and then. So I probably will be trying to film every month. And I will probably not be stitching much either. My stitching has slowed down, which I knew it would because gardening has picked up, fairs, kids, baking, all the things. And like my gardening, I want to can, but I don't think I have time to can. My tomatoes are all just getting thrown in a freezer, which of course I don't have enough freezer space. I never do. I never will. I think we're going to get another freezer tomorrow from a friend who got a new one. So we're going to buy her old one from her and hopefully it'll be enough. TBD. Things are just a lot harder with 3 kids than they were with 2. I think I've said that before, but it's just one added layer of unpredictability, but it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll all work out. Anyways, let's talk about cross stitch. So I have a finish and an FFO, and then I still have my 3 whips, and I have a teeny tiny thing I want to show you from haul. I am going to start with my FFO, I think. So I finished this so that I could take it to the fair, and then I read the fair paper completely wrong. So that's awesome. I think I showed you my finish on Knee High by Hands-On Design already, and I loved it. It was such a fun stitch. I did it on 14 count, T coffee dyed Ada. Called for DMC mostly. I think that red in the barn, like the front face of the barn and the lighter red, was not called for. And the gray might not have been either. But the red I had, I didn't love. So I had an extra skein I found, and I tea coffee dyed it as well, and it turned out perfect. So I did get it finished before the 4th of July. However, I did not get it fully finished until after the 4th of July. So this is the frame I had in mind the whole time I was working on this. We have bigger versions of this frame upstairs with our wedding pictures in them. And I kept like picturing it. And so I went to Hobby Lobby and I went to the wall frame section, and it was out of stock. I was like, dang it, I know they still make it because I saw it online. And I found the spot for it, and it was just empty. But, fun fact, some of the frames, they carry the same ones in the tabletop frames. So I don't know what the back of the wall hanging frames look like. I didn't really look. Probably just their hanging mechanism is different. But I went over to where the wall frames were, and I found it. And it had like the tabletop flip thing on it, and it had like little hooks kind of, but I bought the acid-free foam board. I laced it. I think I had shown you that I didn't have enough margin on the sides of the fabric, so I posted in the Hands-On Design Facebook group, and Kathy actually commented and said that she would sew some muslin strips on the edge and then lace it or do whatever. So I did that, except I had random pieces of linen, like one random piece. It was the perfect length, and it was about like 2.5 inches wide. So I cut it in half, and then I stitched half on this side, half on this side, hand back stitched because I'm still not using a sewing machine. So I sewed that to the Ada, and then I laced the linen together, and it turned out perfect. Okay, sorry. My daughter is playing in the kitchen and heard a weird noise. But anyways, so I laced it, and then I'm going to put a little sawtooth hanger. I took some craft paper because it was kind of janky looking. and I just glued it on with like acid-free book paper that I bought, because for a while I was fixing a lot of books because I had a toddler that ate all of her books. Long story. Anyways, so I did that, and there's my finish, and I'm just gonna put a sawtooth hanger on it, and it'll probably get hung up for like a couple months in the summer, and that'll be it. But there is that. Can you see it? Okay, and then my other finish was a start and a finish, and let me look up the name. Let me find it. Where did it go? Okay, this is by Tiger Lily Designs, and it is called Sue Bonnet Happy Fourths. I did make a mistake on it, and I think there was a mistake on the chart. So you can decide which one was mine and which one was not. The pattern, I can't show it to you because it's just the chart, but it is a freebie on her website. So if you go to tigerlilyshop.com, I believe, you can find it. You can also type in Sue Bonnet Happy 4th, and I'm sure it'll pop up. She is so cute. I sent a picture to my sister. She's like, I need her. I'm like, I know. I think I'm going to, maybe, I haven't decided yet, do her kind of like an animal cracker and do like a cutout, and like the flag I would probably just kind of curve right here. Maybe, or maybe just go straight down. But do it like a stand-up. I think she would be adorable. I'd probably have to go like curve on the bottom so that she could have a good solid base. I love her though. I think she's so cute. Either that or she'll just go on a little square pillow. But love, love, love her. So that pattern, it just called for like white skin tone, red, blue, gray, light blue. So I just looked through my stash and I found, sorry, they look raggedy. Have I shown you how I store my floss? I don't know. So these are the colors that I used. And I don't remember if I've shown you how I store my floss. If I haven't, oh, this is the one I cut wrong. I'm not going to show you that. It's embarrassing. I like the look of the bobbin box and the organization of it, but I also wanted the ease of the floss drop. So I did both. You can buy floss drop bobbins. However, I was not about to spend the money on it. If I really wanted to, I could 3D print them, but then I would want to get white filament because white is prettier. And right now I have purple back there in my 3D printer. So I just slip knotted around the bobbin. And then I keep the tag on there in case this wears off, which it has a few times. It's just a Sharpie. And then I wrap it. And then I put it in the bobbin box. And then when I'm working on my project, I just leave it unwrapped and put it on a ring. And so these are my colors I used. Just whatever I had, whatever looked good. And then I think I did use a fancy floss for the white because I made my first fancy floss purchase. So I might as well show you that whip. Next, hold on. Sorry, we're trying to decide if we want to go to the fair tonight or not. I hadn't even really thought about it, but my husband asked me and I'm like, I don't know. What do you want to do? Anyways, my next whip, this one has gotten put in timeout a couple of times because everyone says Plum Street has a lot of stitching, and it does, for sure. It's a lot of fill, but like right now the fill isn't like big fill. It's fill that I have to count everything on. So it's fun and I love it, but it's also a pain in the butt. So I am doing this I Know from Plum Street. I think it is absolutely gorgeous, and I cannot wait for it to be done. And I'm gonna probably hang it up in my girls' room or outside my girls' room if I don't trust them fully. TBD. Okay. And I have ironed nothing. So I'm so sorry. So here's where I am at. Let me get this book behind it so that it's a little flatter. And my needle's just stuck in there. It's fine. So I don't remember where I was at last time. I think I was still working on the church, maybe. I got the fancy floss for this project because I looked at the picture and I was like, it just needs it. In the windows, I did not use the fancy floss because I didn't really think it mattered. But on the roof, I wanted it, and I stitched it like at a diagonal. I don't know if you can tell. I love how the leaves work, how the leaves look with it. The tree trunk, you can't really see that much. Over here. And then the grass and the sheep is so much counting. None of the sheep are all the same. Well, there's some of them are the same, but they're not all the same. So you have to think about it because they're facing different directions and stuff. And then you got to count from one to the other. And so I am trying to just kind of do what's on the edge. And then I'll probably fill in some. And then, I don't know. It's hurting my brain. And then the leaves also are very similar, but they're not all the same. So you'll like think you got it. And then you'll not got it, or you'll look at the wrong one, and then you'll get confused because you thought you were doing the right one, but you weren't. So I'm working on this tree right now. And then there's a whole other tree up here that I still have to do. And yeah, it's going to say, Jesus loves me, this I know. There's a lot left. I don't even think I'm halfway done. But I love the fabric. I love the colors. I bought my first fancy floss. So I have, these are my colors. Some of these are tea coffee dyed, which is called for on the pattern. And then I have the colors from Classic Colorworks in here. And then there's one from Weeks Dye Works. And I got those all from Floss and Needle in McPherson. I ordered them online and I messaged her because I couldn't find the Weeks Dye Works. However, I was typing it in, I wasn't finding it. I don't know what I was doing. But she sent me the direct link so I could add it to my order. And then I was able to just stop and pick it up because I knew I wasn't going to be able to go without kids. So I had her find it all for me so that I could just stop and grab it. And then while I was there, they were surprisingly pleasant. My kids, not them. I expected them to be great. But my kids behaved mostly well. So I spent a little bit of time looking around and I ended up buying another pattern because, you know, who doesn't need more projects? Me. I don't need more projects. So yeah, I finally got some overdyed floss. And with that, I've realized that it's not just my tea coffee dyed floss that tangles easily. It's really hard to get it off of the like floss drops. So, and it just tangles easier. I don't know why. So I made a little beeswax piggy. I got some beeswax to make calendula salve with the calendula I'm growing in my garden. A whole nother story. It's been working really great for mosquito bites, but I use some of the beeswax to make just a little piggy mold that I keep in this bag. And I probably need like something to put it in case it would melt in the car. I've just not been leaving it in the car or really stitching on it that much because it's just, it requires more brain power than I have most of the time. I can do like daytime, but I have something else I've been having more fun with. So I will show you my gathering honey. I'm obsessed. This was a magazine that I got from a family friend who gave me his first wife's whole entire stash of patterns, which is like literally probably hundreds of patterns and magazines. And I saw this when I was looking through them really quickly. I was just going through like, what might I do? What will I probably not do? And then I've gone through them a couple times since then. But I saw this that day and I thought, ooh, garden, like it. And I just kept going. And then later that night, I think it was, I saw somebody on Facebook post that they were going to do this, or they were already working on it. I thought, I think I have that. So in the Homespun Needlework Facebook group, there's kind of like an unofficial stitch along where several of us are doing it at the same time. And, you know, nobody's posted about it for a while. So maybe I need to go post my progress and see where everyone else is at. But I saw it, and then I saw it on there, and I thought, okay, I gotta do this. So I found a random piece of linen that was also in this lady's stash, because he gave me all of her fabric and all of her patterns. And I think it is probably a 28 count Irish linen, because that's what most of it was. It was Charles Craft Irish linen. And here is my progress, and I am having the most fun. I do still need to get a couple more colors. I've gotten a bunch of colors, but I love it. I'm trying to backstitch as I finish, and yeah, all like most of these, I'm missing one color that I need to finish the sections, or a couple colors. And then down here, I have a bunch of French knots to do, which I'm not looking forward to. But I think last time I showed you, I might have had the hive done and part of the rocks, or maybe none of the rocks. It might have just been the hive. I don't know. But it has been so fun, and it's been quick. I thought this would take forever, and it really hasn't. It's been really fun. So I want to work on that some more. And then I thought about not doing like anything else around it. I thought I was just doing that square, but I think I'm gonna go and do it all, because I love how that honeycomb looks with the bees wherever. I can't tell where I'm at. I love how that looks. So I think I'm gonna do the whole entire thing, and I think it'll just be gorgeous. So I am pretty sure I have enough fabric top to bottom on this one. Fingers crossed. If not, we'll figure it out, I guess. But this has been my favorite stitch lately, by far. And I need to go to Hobby Lobby and get a few more colors, because I'm missing a couple. But here is how many colors I have so far. And then I do have a few more that I haven't had to use, and they're kind of tangled up. I like to keep them all like combed down, and then I twist them, but sometimes they just get crammed in there. So there's a lot of colors, but it is a pattern from the 80s, so I feel like that's just kind of how it is. So there is that. And 1 second. Okay, hold on. Okay, sorry. So then my next and my last whip. And like I said before, I like to be a monogamous stitcher with like little quick projects. But right now I'm in the middle of 3 big projects, which is why I did this one. I just needed a quick finish, and I didn't have anything patriotic, and it was like a week before, or the week of the 4th of July. I just needed something quick to get my little dopamine hit. So that's what that was. My next whip is my Christmas stocking, and I talked about this before. It was a stocking my mom started probably 20 years ago for me to have for Christmas stockings. She made one for my sister, which might be in this book. I'm not 100% sure. And then she started one for me, and it never got finished. And so then when I started cross-stitching, I asked my dad if he knew where mom's stuff was, and I told him I wanted him to find the stocking. He's like, well, I can't find it, but I found this, and he gave me her like stitch bow binder, And so I open it up, and he's like, this has all of our floss in it, and there's a lot of floss. I open it up, and I'm like, oh, cool, here's the book. If I can't find the stocking, at least I can restart it. Well, then I looked in another pocket. I was like, oh, here it is. You found it, Dad. You just didn't know you found it. So we don't know when she put this in there because we both remembered her having a canvas tote. But here's where it's at. And at some point, something got spilled on it. I'm guessing tea, maybe. Or pop. I don't know. But that's probably why it got moved out of the canvas tote bag, is because it got spilled on. But I think last time I showed you, I was working on one of these sheep and I had a little bit to go. I did get the whole middle part filled in. So there were a few random things in here that still were not finished. And I got the sheep done. Other than backstitching everything, that whole area is done. Then I got to start on these angel wings. And yeah, I did the sheep bodies. You can tell like what got stained and what didn't, but I'm gonna leave it because I think that's just part of like the sentimental heirloom charm of it. And then I came down here, I did the crown right there, and then I started this camel, and then I got mad at it and put it in timeout. This is part of the wise men. My mom did that part, and I thought she was crazy for counting that far down, but she did love to count everything, so she probably didn't mind. And she probably counted the right way, because I would probably mess it up. Yeah. So there is this. And on these sheep, that gray is 2 different colors. I'm convinced that I'm going crazy because it does not look like 2 different colors, but in the picture it does. I think it's DMC 3024 and DMC 843 or something like that. Nope, that's not right. 841. So I think my 841 is in a different bag. But like you hold them up together and they look like the exact same color. And I don't know. It's wild to me. Because this looks super light on the picture. And then the other one looks really dark. But together they're like the same shade. Just a slight different hue, I guess. Sorry. Let me find it. Because it's like I'm losing my mind. Now I don't even know where I put it. Just kidding. I'm not going to show you because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where my brain is. I don't know. It was here the other day. I just had it. But now I lost it. Anyways. Tell me that does not get its bottom because it's stained. Tell me that does not look like it's all the same color gray. I don't know. Anyways. It's probably about halfway done. I tried to put it into like markup RXP just to see, like I don't want to pay for it, but just to see where I'm at. And because it's out of a book, it's like warped. It doesn't line up perfect. So I gave up on that, but it's probably about halfway done. There's still the angels up here and then the wise men down there. And then it all has to get backstitched. Kind of pretty just like that though, not gonna lie. I kind of like it. I did find a few more mistakes in there, but that's all right. Adds to the character. So that is my other whip, and I've worked on that a little bit in the last week, not a whole lot, because I just really like the garden right now. It's really fun to work on the garden, so I have been doing that most of the time. Let me clean up my mess real quick, because if I don't, it will stay a mess and make me crazy. Okay, and then I told you I got a little tiny bit of haul, and it is Plum Street Samplers, Tomato Hill, I picked this up when I was at Floss and Needle because you just gotta get a pattern when you're in a cross stitch store. I think it's a rule. And I want to start it, but I'm also in the middle of everything else. I haven't, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I haven't even gone through yet to see how many of these colors I have and how many of them I need. It's fine. But I love it. It's so cute. And I've seen several people do it, and I think it's pretty small. So probably a lot of stitches, it looks like, but it's really cute and little. And I'm excited to do it. So there's my little haul. And I need to find fabric for it also, because who knows? Sorry, apparently I should have taken a nap because it's nap time for everyone but my oldest. So there is my finish, my full finish. That was my first real time framing by myself. And then my whips and my haul. What else do I need to talk about? My 6-year-old wants me to tell you that she lost her tooth finally after it bled like 5 times. I was like, just pull it out. She wouldn't pull it out. So finally it fell out on its own, and she luckily found it before she swallowed it. What I've been watching, I should mention that. I've been watching the Story Stitcher, who was talking about, I'll show you these ones. They're right here. She was talking with her mom on an episode about Told in the Garden stitches. There's like all these adorable Amish stitches. And I don't live in Amish country, but we do live in Mennonite country, and we're surrounded by, I mean, we go to a Mennonite church, a Mennonite Brethren church, and there's a lot of Holderman Mennonites around here, and it's all connected. My mom took a class in college where they like learned about all the history. I don't know. They all came from the same place. But they were talking about, actually, her mom was talking about this one and how she loved it because it kind of showed all the stages of like the courting, where they're like little kids. They won't, like, they're not near each other, and then they're playing together, and then they grow up and they're on a swing together, and then they're in a buggy together, and then they're old and sitting on their porch together, and just how it's kind of like a cool story of the lifetime. And she's talking about it, and I'm like, I should pull up my Told in the Garden stuff and see which ones I have, because these all came as part of that stash from the lady I was talking about earlier. So I found this one, and now I kind of want to do it. I don't love the colors on there. I don't know. So I might do it, and I might change those up a little bit. But along with this one, I've shown this one already. I have the Blueberry Homecoming, which I think is just adorable. And it was a whip that came in the box of fabric, and I think it's probably like, it's quite a bit of progress done on here. So I definitely want to work on this at some point. I don't have very much of the floss, but it's so cute. I love it. I want to do it. It's just sitting here staring at me, like waiting for me to finish something so that I can pick it up. And then this is what I really want to do. It is the garden, and it has, I mean, it's kind of like the one, the Gathering Honey one I'm doing, where it has all the gardening stuff. I just love it. And like I said, I'm not really like big into Amish culture, but I can appreciate it, and I think it's cute. And I will probably do this one for sure, and this one for sure at some point. And I just love it. I think they're beautiful, and I've seen several other people talking about it, and somebody told me that if I start it, I'm not gonna be able to put it down. So I'm gonna finish gathering honey and then we'll talk. But I also have some stuff from Stitching with the Housewives that I want to do because it's gonna be Christmas pretty soon, and I wanted to make my friend a birthday present, and her birthday was this week, and I have not even bought the pattern yet, so there's that. Crushing it. Yeah, so that is kind of what I've worked on, what I have thought about working on. Some other people who I've watched are, let me look through my YouTube history. I have recently watched a lot of Garden Answer and Roots and Refuge Farm, as well as just random flower farms, because I'm gonna convert a corner of our garden. I think I'm gonna start calling it a yarden. I'm gonna coin it because we've tried to grow stuff in it and it's just been taken over by grass and junk, and it's not pretty, it's not functional. So I am going to do it like a production flower farm style on a tiny baby small scale, because I think that's the only way I can like get what I want both out of the yard and like have room to grow the flowers I want. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna do that. So I've been watching a lot of videos. Lori Holt made another Flosstube this week, so I watched that. Tiger Lily Designs, I watched that. I watched her lately. Of course, The Housewives. I've been watching Lost Our Needles lately, and the Carolina Stitchers, and I feel like there was someone else that I started watching, but I cannot remember who it was. And then I started watching a show on Netflix the other day. Also don't remember the name of it, but it was really funny. So I will probably watch that in, you know, like the 5 minutes of downtime I get by myself to watch whatever I want, because it's not something I can watch when the kids are awake because of the language, and I don't think my husband's going to want to watch it. And then we've also been watching House because we finally finished CSI Las Vegas, and then we needed something else to watch. We tried a different show, and I feel like all the new shows now, like there's just not as many words being spoken. It's more like visually beautiful, and you kind of gotta like read between the lines. And if it's late at night, my brain cannot focus as well. So I was like, this is a great show, but it's not great for bedtime. So, because I gotta feed a baby and stay awake, and it wasn't working for me. So, I said, let's try House. And I thought, you know, he's kind of a smart aleck, and I thought my husband would think it's funny, and I think I was right, maybe. He hasn't complained about it, so that's where we're at. I don't know much else. It's kind of our life. But I will be getting very busy with cookies, so I probably will not be recording as often as I would like to, but I will aim for once a month as my chaos kind of picks up. And then we'll get back to school in like a month. And I'm not ready. My 6-year-old is really great at taking care of my 7-month-old and helping. And if I need her to go like grab something, she just does it. If I don't know, like if I need the baby, she'll just go grab the baby and give her to me. And it's been so fantastic. So I've told her that she's getting homeschooled. She's not. She's gonna go to school, but I want to keep her forever. Just let her be mommy number 2. It's fine, truly. People like warned me about her wanting to be the mom, and I'm like, I got 3 now. She can be a mom all she wants. But so there is where we're at. Hopefully I will be back in a few weeks with some updates. hopefully I have time to stitch. I have a feeling I'm going to be grabbing something small to start pretty soon because I'm kind of getting that start and finish itch. I really need to work on Jesus Loves Me. I really just want to get Gathering Honey done because it's fun. I'm loving, like, I love it. It's been a really fun stitch. So we will see where these plans take me, and we will see if I have much time to stitch or not. But thank you for watching, and I wanted to also say, if you have watched and commented on my past videos, thank you so much. I've tried to reply to most of you. Occasionally a kid will distract me, and then I will not get my thoughts typed out. And if I haven't replied, I hope I've at least given you a heart. But I want you to know that I have so appreciated all the comments, all the love. Even some of the messages on Instagram have been really fun to get and talk to a few of you. So thank you so much for subscribing and liking and commenting and all the things. Truly, I just wanted a place to talk about cross stitch because my husband doesn't want to hear it all the time. He loves me, but he's just like, cool, whatever, don't care, in the kindest way. So I'm really grateful to have all of you here, to be the people who will listen to me word vomit for 40 minutes about cross stitch. What a crazy world we live in. I'm gonna try to insert some pictures of the cookies I worked on last week and maybe a few life things. I don't know, we took a few projects to the fair, both me and the girls. I didn't even talk about that. I took flowers and vegetables, and I was gonna take my cross stitch, but didn't read the paper right. So we took flowers, vegetables, and then they both baked 2 things. So each of us got Grand Champion. I got 3 Grand Champions. And they both got multiple purple ribbons too. So it's been a really fun summer, a really fun week going to the fair, and it's just gonna get more fun because my favorite fair is next week. So stay tuned for cross stitch updates. I do try to post on Instagram every once in a while, but right now I'm trying to really force myself to stay on my cookie Instagram page because that is where my mind needs to be, because I need to be able to like creatively think cookies. And yeah, so I've been over there more than I've been on the cross stitch, but I am trying to post like as I'm working on my whips occasionally. So if you need an update on my life, you might find me there. Maybe. Anyway, that's enough rambling. So I'm gonna end this now and then go figure out what we're gonna do this evening, what we're gonna eat for supper, all the things. So thank you for watching. Leave a comment if you would like to, like the video if you would like to, and feel free to subscribe because who knows when I'll be back. Thank y'all. Bye.